Hello everyone and welcome to the first game of this series in the Aspiring Experts Tournament quarterfinal matchup between Lojza and ClassicPro. We have Lojza here in blue playing as the Aztecs, and in red we have ClassicPro playing as the Slavs. The map we're playing on looks to be Saltmarsh, and this is the new and improved Saltmarsh. Let me give a little bit of background on these players, then we can talk about the maps and their civilization picks. So Lojza, I think, in my opinion, is probably the favorite to win this tournament. This tournament is a 2400 ELO and less tournament, so anyone who's ever reached above 2400 is not eligible to participate. As well, the prize pool, I should mention, is now $1,000. We had a significant contribution, I believe $200 from a donor. Can't remember the name, on an AoE zone, unfortunately. But, and that $200 was matched by Voobly Official. So that brings the total prize pool to $1,000. Gives you a little bit of an idea what the stake is for these players in this quarterfinal matchup. And Lojza, I think he's the favorite in this tournament. I'm really surprised he hasn't been 2400 or above. So I would definitely take him. ClassicPro, I believe, is an extremely strong player as well. Probably 2300, maybe 2200, but very, very strong. Should give Lojza a good run for his money. And yes, I just noticed, I'm looking at the flags here. I guess the flag for ClassicPro, because I'm not as familiar with these players. I will change the flag up top after the stream. So I put Netherlands on the top. It's actually, if someone in the chat wants to help me with this flag, I would greatly appreciate it, because I have no idea what that flag is. Probably an Eastern European country. That's just my best guess. So these players are extremely strong. This should be an even and close matchup. And let's take a look at the civilizations. 1 second, my mom is texting me. I think she wants me to go to the grocery store, but we'll finish up this first. So, Lojza playing as the Aztecs, one of the strongest civilizations. I really like the Aztecs for this kind of map, because I think you should be able to wall it up and then maybe go fast Imp Eagle Warriors. The economy will be nice. Really, Aztecs is great on any 1-versus-1 circumstances. Perhaps Mayans might be even a better choice, but Aztecs is fairly solid. My only question is, if you're picking Aztecs on this map, what map are you not going to pick Aztecs on? Because maybe, you know, that is something to take in consideration. Is this the best map for Aztecs? Oop. Lojza almost picking off a villager of ClassicPro. So yeah, the Aztecs are great. We'll see if we see a Men-at-Arms rush, Eagle Warrior, monks, probably not. ClassicPro playing as the Slavs. Again, another fairly strong civilization. Great economy. And once again, Lojza really trying to go for this lane, but he's not going to get it. Lost a little bit of HP on that scout, in fact. So Slavs, cavalry civilization. A little bit of difference in playstyle in these civilizations. So Slavs very cavalry-oriented. We'll probably see a scout rush into knights. Looking at how open this map is, I could definitely see how a scout or a knight rush could be to players' benefit. But then again, this map is possible to wall. So you could really go either way with that. I would say advantage in this matchup actually to the Slavs. And that might be a little bit counterintuitive since the Aztecs are usually such a strong civilization, but I might take that back if the scout runs in the town center. No, it won't. And I really just love the openness of this map, but the ability to wall at home, I think that would favor maybe a scout or a knight build. And taking a look at the villager numbers, it is a little bit different, which is interesting. KD 0 to 1. Maybe Lojza did have some luck. I bet he did kill a villager. While I was talking about all of that, I bet he did kill a villager. There it is. There's the body right there. One villager down for ClassicPro, so that explains that. And ClassicPro got Loom. Lojza did not, so that's why it looks to be like 2 villagers ahead. Even 2.5. So not a great start for ClassicPro. He's going to be walling up his map. I hope he doesn't plan on going for a straight fast castle, because I think that would be suicide. You try crazy things if you're a villager behind. But I think a scout rush would be the preferable strategy. And perhaps following up with towers. Sorry, towers if you're Lojza, to go aggressive. Here's that barracks for Lojza. And I would be shocked to see ClassicPro go for some sort of fast castle. But look at his map, on the other hand. Look at this. Look at this wood line. These wood lines are ridiculous. This area should be easy to defend from. This area should be easy to defend from. How are you going to get a tower around here? The town center covers both sides. On the other hand, I might want to consider a fast castle, but nope, Lojza's going to go for a fast feudal. He's up on 21 population. A little bit later than normal because, of course, he lost that villager, so should be around 22 population. New militia for Lojza. Let's see, is he going to go forward with these villagers and start to place a tower? You get this early advantage with the Aztecs that you have that extra 50 gold, such that you can really build a lot of militias and take the map control very early. So here he goes. 4 villagers out across the map. They will go for that tower. This is not a great map to tower rush. In fact, I would say this is a terrible map to tower rush. Let's see how much Lojza has scouted. He has seen the terrible map. But what he can get, he can destroy this barracks. He can place a tower here to deny a farm. Now, remember that farm only has about 100 food left on it. Maybe he's building a tower to take out the town center. I think that tower is actually within range of the town center. And it looks like it's not, because the town center did not fire an arrow. Lojza will get through this palisade, but where will he go? ClassicPro should wall here. If he doesn't, it would be an absolute disaster. There's a stable coming up. Building a watchtower there. I guess he does have to do that. That makes sense. I'm going to build a diagonal gate. Horizontal gate, I suppose. So he's got to place the tower there. Oh, villager going down on that farm. That was sloppy. You should delete that farm right away. That farm should absolutely be destroyed. And another villager going down. Such sloppy plays from ClassicPro. That one's actually going to get away. This house is on 24 HP, and Lojza's going to notice this. This is not good play from ClassicPro. He's down 3 villagers already. All 3 were preventable. That absolutely should have been walled up. And this is an absolute disaster. Cassis Paxo, welcome to the stream. Thinking it's going to be a 3-0 for Lojza. I don't think so. Yeah, I know it's... You came a little bit late. I know it's the wrong flag. Oh, it's Ukraine. Thank you. I'll fix it after the stream. And let's see what kind of value these men-at-arms can get. Trading off for scouts. Pretty good micro from ClassicPro, but I think the damage is done. And that's nice that Eagle's going to get away and be super annoying. But not for long, because ClassicPro is coming over. Look at ClassicPro's economy. He's got 2 idols here. Seeding some inefficient farms in the back. We'll have another idle villager in this area. The sheep is going to be done, which means we'll have 5 more idols right there. ClassicPro is a mess right now. Am I going to update my UI anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not. So ClassicPro going to move out across the map. Lojza going to build his walls. He only has had to wall right now, so I hope he does that quick because doesn't want those scouts to be in. But then again, he could make a few spearmen. Lojza's in a great position. Look at how many farms he's got. Gonna have 2 on gold. Lojza might be playing greedy. Normally, you follow up with an archer range. And in fact, look at this! Lojza gonna pick off these villagers. These villagers couldn't do anymore. What were they doing in this front area this whole time? Is this ClassicPro's way back into the game? Gonna pick off at least a second villager. Is there a spearman? The spearman is out, so 2 of these villagers are down. Now we have only a 2 villager difference. That's not too bad. Lojza's still with a pretty comfortable position, getting wheelbarrow. And is he gonna run in? Gonna run in. Look for maybe some of the weak villagers? Not really. And Scout's gonna move around. Gonna try to pick off a villager. Might be able to get it. Definitely will be able to get it if he targets it, and that's pretty good. Could even get another one, as the spearman is gonna stay back, and this villager is gonna be a little bit exposed. Do you take a fight here? If this was the Viper, he would definitely wall that villager in. Gonna try to get it. That was the weak scout. That scout's down. I guess that's not too bad of a trade. Those scouts wouldn't be too useful later on. And that's not too bad. ClassicPro clawing his way back just a little bit. He's got Slav farmers. I did like his civilization matchup from earlier in the game. And look at this. This tower could not be walled on that one side, and it'll go down. So I think Lojza got a little bit lucky with that tower killing a villager. Those men-at-arms breaking in, killing 2 more villagers, getting a good trade with the scouts. A little bit of luck from Lojza. But now it's starting to come back a little bit. As he loses a few villagers, the tower will get taken out. And the goal of a tower rush is, of course, to take away resources. Couldn't get to the gold. Kind of missed the old Nabs days. Zupi, Pike, 8th Wonder, Spaden, Lojza, Mentalist. I know some of them are still playing, but not like before. Most of them still play. I don't think Pike plays too much. Zupi plays a lot. 8th Wonder, not too much. Spaden, not too much. Lojza, you're seeing him now. Mentalist, not too much. So yeah, there are quite a few pros that we do miss. There are newer pros, of course. And I guess that's the point of this tournament, is to shed some light onto some of these quote-unquote aspiring experts. Maybe we should organize another tournament, and it will be only legendary players invited, players that haven't played in a while, and see who is able to adapt the best. That would be such a hassle, though, to get these players to want to come back. Castle Age coming in from Lojza. Lojza also getting Scale Mail armor, so he will go into the Eagle and Pike line. And I think with the way this is set up, I think Lojza's best bet. Sure, he could go forward with the Siege Workshop, upgrade to Eagle Warrior, place this, place a Monastery. I think a Monastery could be effective, a Monastery Siege push, because of the low space here, but Eagles definitely won't be very effective because they can't really raid. I think best case for Lojza is probably going to add some town centers at home. Interestingly, going to add another barracks. Built a market, because he didn't have the archery range. For the advance to the next age. And these castle timings are pretty close, actually. ClassicPro, on the other hand, 2 stable knights, heavy investment from him. He probably will be able to add another town center because it is Slad's eco. But I think with all these farms, he'll be making quite a bit of knights. And it really depends on the spearman numbers, what kind of engagement you can take. And even a 3rd barracks, that's really heavy investment from Lojza. What is this? Scouts attacking a villager. Oh, that sucks. There's no spearman here to defend that villager. Another lucky pick from ClassicPro. What is it getting arson? That's a wasted upgrade. Just because you can get an upgrade doesn't mean you should get one. For one, I do like to see the attack upgrades first if you're going to do damage versus buildings and other units. But arson's not worth it. Sure, you can take out the barracks, but who cares? That is 200 resources down the drain. 3 barracks, Eagle Warrior production going. And is going to add a monastery. Now, the monastery could be very strong, not only because these are Aztec monks with extra HP, and the relics will collect gold faster for the Aztecs, but look at how little space these monks have to maneuver. The big problem about monks is their maneuverability. That's why they're so good on Arena. They don't have to move anywhere. It's a small map. And, oh, I don't agree with this decision at all. Eagle Warrior's going to move in. Going to take a ton of arrow thought fire. ClassicPro had knights. A lot of knights. Lojza really was not expecting that at all. And could potentially take a good engagement here. I think ClassicPro should run back, heal up his knights. And actually, these knights have pretty good upgrades. +2 armor. Anyway, these monks should be able to do fairly fine. However, the Slavs also have good monks, so maybe we see Atonement. Atonement is the upgrade to convert other monks, of course. Here's that first monk. Won't get a quick conversion. Now, ClassicPro probably should add a second monastery and heal up his knights. Try to defend for the time being. He's under a lot of pressure. Lojza, interestingly, wow, he really pulled his entire economy to take it. Oh, it was a mistake. He double-clicked everything. He double-clicked all of his villagers to kill that scout. That sucks. Look at the village numbers, 41 to 35. What the hell is happening with Lojza's economy? It's crazy. Lojza must have just forgot to build villagers. Or Classic Pro doesn't have wheelbarrow yet. I think he's got wheelbarrow. Artillery coming in. These knights are going to get healed up. I think Classic Pro is in a very good position to defend. I think both players are in a reasonable position. And this might go downhill for one of these players fairly quickly. I would like to see the Atonement upgrade come in for one of these players. And I think if you're Classic Pro, just stay back for now. I think those monks are too deadly. A few monks coming forward. They're the only unit that can't be converted right now. And this could be a good fight. Gonna take out one monk right away. That one's not gonna go down. Actually, he did go down. But it looks like 2 monks got converted, so that's a terrible fight. I don't know what Classic Pro was expecting with that. Maybe he wasn't expecting as many eagles. But that was an absolutely terrible fight. And actually, these eagles can run in now. Try to wall it. Wall it quick. Convert. This could be a disaster. These eagles still missing one of the armors. And I think this might be the game for Lojza. That's going to be too much. It's going to overwhelm his base. And this was all completely avoidable. That was a terrible fight for Classic Pro to take. He could have walled it right there. And this is over. This is absolutely over. Classic Pro is going to take the first game. He has food, but he has no gold, so can't build any more knights to defend. GG. Few misplays from Classic Pro took it back a little bit in the late feudal age, getting a bunch of villager kills. Nice play from Lojza. The monastery play was super strong on this particular kind of map. And then just a few more mistakes from Classic Pro, and those eagles were in. And I didn't think the eagles should get in this game. They absolutely shouldn't with the way these walls are set up. But they did. And boy, did they end that game in a hurry. So first point going to go to Lojza. In a fairly close game, a little bit back and forth. Certainly some weaknesses in Lojza's play. Again, I expect this to be a fairly close series. Let's go on to the next game. Thank you, Nido Level 6. I appreciate it. And I'm not sure if we're still doing the raffle yet, even though... Oh, I could turn that off, actually, in the Voobly bot. Alright, so let me update the flag, let me update the score, and let me update the Voobly bot. And we'll be on to the next game. Score currently is 1-0. For Lojza. First of 3 wins, of course. We'll move on to the semifinals. Update the flag now. Alright, so I put the Ukraine flag, which I believe is correct. And let me update the bot. Oh, if I could figure it out. Oh, here we go. Off. Alright, let's go on to the next game. This next game will be Crisscross. Which, I'm not too familiar with this map. But here we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second game in this best of 5 series quarterfinal matchup between Lojza and Classic Pro. We are in the map Crisscross. This is a new map for me. I have not casted or seen a game yet on this map, and this will be pretty exciting. We have Lojza going 1-0 against Classic Pro. On the last map, it was Saltmarsh. We saw some good plays, some mistakes from both players. Classic Pro had a very bad start. Let's see what he could do this game if he could have a more solid start against probably the favorite in the tournament, Lojza. Oh, boy. Another mistake. I misspelled Lojza's name on the top. That's okay. I always have trouble with his name. First, let's talk a little bit about this map, as I could get my bearings of it. So players are very close together, and water is a very prominent aspect of this map. However, we have many small ponds. Now, I think probably the best strategy would to go for one of these smaller ponds, because then you won't lose your fish. You could, of course, dock the middle, which has the most fish, will benefit you most late game. You could, of course, take out your opponent's fish if you dock in the middle, but it's riskier because you could lose the water and could lose your fish. Might depend on how you like your civilization matchup. And let's look up the land in between them. So we have standard resources as far as gold and stone is concerned. Actually, a little bit more gold, maybe. And yeah, very short rush distance. It is definitely wallable here, but I think that also those walls can be broken with a little bit of effort. Lojza has his wood line on the left. These are okay wood lines. ClassicPro has his wood line all the way in the north, which is very weird. He should have probably gone for this left one. Maybe he'll place a second lumber camp there. He is playing as the Japanese, and he's playing against the Malay. I actually prefer the Japanese in this matchup because of the potential for safe fishing. And the big bonus with the Japanese, I think there's two big bonuses that they probably get on this map, in addition to their other small ones. But their lumber camps, mills, mining camps will be only 50 wood, so that'll give them a great Dark Age. And their fishing ships, in addition to having extra HP and armor, collect fish faster, and I really love that bonus. I think that bonus is just great. I think that's the best bonus of either of these civilizations in this game. Lojza having a very bad time luring his boar. And now it's Lojza's turn to have a bad start. Lojza's going to build his dock in the middle, taking that risk. Yeah, I do like the in-game music, yes. And I think it should be the proper volume from when I checked last. Just a little bit in the background. And so the Japanese really love their civilization. They don't get any, like, galley bonuses. Sure, they get a little bit extra line of sight, but it's really not that big. The Malay, let's see, their docks, I believe, have extra line of sight. You can upgrade them to harbors, which can be very strong. I don't expect to see that upgrade. That's usually a late imp upgrade. Harbors, if you don't know, they can shoot arrows from the docks. The biggest bonus for the Malay is that they advance to the next age 80% faster, which can either give them a good economy bonus or get them up to the next age faster, just as the bonus says. So that's a really great bonus for water. If this goes to a land battle, Japanese have more versatility, they have better cavalry, and their infantry, I think, is better. Their samurai should shred all. Their champions, their halbs, will attack faster. The Malay, sure, they can get their two-handed swordsman out without any gold cost due to their unique tech, Forced Levy. But I don't see that being as big of a role. Gambits are cheap units which are good at raiding. This is not a map that you're going to be raiding on. I want the strongest infantry possible, and the Japanese have that. So that's my pick of civilizations. That's my analysis of it. Lojza with 2 fishing ships. Let's see how ClassicPro's doing. 2 fishing ships as well. We have a little bit of a discrepancy as far as the villager numbers. That's because ClassicPro has not researched Loom. As well, ClassicPro lost the scout to the town center. No, my bad. Lojza lost the scout to the town center. So this is a terrible, terrible Dark Age for Lojza. Just like we saw the last game, a terrible Dark Age for ClassicPro. Let's see if it's going to impact the uptimes, which are oh so important. ClassicPro on the way up to the next age first. This is pretty expected with those Japanese economy bonuses and fishing ships early in the game. Let's see how far behind Lojza will be. Let's see if ClassicPro will make the same mistake. Like he won't. A lot of that HP has been lost, I assume, from a scout battle earlier. Oh boy! That was close. ClassicPro not paying attention, Lojza paying a lot of attention, and if you're ClassicPro, just try to get out of there and don't lose that scout. 1 HP left on it. So both players will be up at almost identical times. In fact, Classic Pro will be up a little bit faster. I think that's partially a reflection of the bad Dark Age that Lojza has had. Looks like we'll see probably 3 villagers on goal for Lojza. And this is a big deal, actually, that I haven't noticed. So let's take a look at Lojza's scouting. Now, Lojza lost his scout earlier. I gotta assume that if the first dock was in the middle, he would have seen it. But if a second dock were to go up, there's no way he would know because he doesn't have any scouting information. And Lojza does not know where the first dock of Classic Pro is. It is, in fact, on the right side. So Lojza is going to be forced to build a fire galley here just in case the second dock went up from Classic Pro. It's actually going up right now. So this is a little bit lucky. And perhaps a little bit of a... I don't want to say a bad decision, but a little unlucky for Classic Pro. Because this fire galley will be very useful now that there's a dock here in the middle. Classic Pro will have to build some fire galleys of his own to contest. Now, still getting some good information. Let's see if Classic Pro can see these military buildings. There we go. Can see the archery range coming up. We already have an archery range and an archer out for Classic Pro. I think you're going to be wanting to switch into skirmishers at this point. Going to build a blacksmith for the early fletching. Lots of villagers on goal for Classic Pro. Again, he's building archers. Very gold-intensive unit. Going to switch over to berries early because those mills are 50% cheaper. And Classic Pro, a little bit behind in the galley game. Going to build a demo to try to catch up. And one thing I do not like about Classic Pro's position right now, you've got Japanese fishing ships, and yet you've only made 4 on 1 pond. I think that you should definitely have made a dock over here, a dock over here. And perhaps this dock, in the middle was a bad decision. Because I think just go for the safe fish if you're Japanese. As long as you have safe fish, you're golden. What else do you have to worry about? So scout being lost to Lojza. Perhaps to the town center, perhaps to the archers. Either one, and that scout was on 1 HP. Quick walls from Lojza, this wall is only on 4 HP. So, Classic Pro doing a little early harassment, not doing any damage really. Again, I think this is a skirmisher game. This is not going to be an archer game. I think the window for damage is done, and you have to switch into skirmishers. But that said, both players are still building archers. We had a second archer range from Classic Pro. He should be out-nassing Lojza on the land. And there we go, Classic Pro finally expanding out to another pond. And a nice engagement from Lojza. He has that skirmisher in there. Unfortunately, this archer is going to go the wrong way around, but Classic Pro is not going to notice it. And let's see how this engagement goes. That one skirmisher is extra scary. Another archer range coming up from Lojza, so he doesn't get too far behind. He'll be fine as long as he makes skirmishers. No, still going archers. Interesting decision. Where is this villager going for Classic Pro? Is it going to try to tower the gold? Oh, he's probably going to build a dock here. There is the potential for transport ships on this map. This is a nice map. There's a lot of different strategy options. Isn't Classic Pro kind of forced to be present because of the gold there? He's forced to do something about the gold. I mean, he could go to the back gold, which he's doing right now, or he could build a tower on that gold. But he's clearly lost water control in the middle. So he's got to do one of those 3 things. And this villager's going to walk all the way back. I hate that. So, Lojza with a little bit of a military advantage. Neither player with padded archer armor. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Gonna kill that deer. Little bit of a hill advantage for Classic Pro. And that makes all the difference in the world. Gonna get a lot of archer kills on the way back. Classic Pro now with padded archer armor. Very even game to start. think if you're Lojza, this has gone almost as well as... Well, you had a bad start, but it hasn't gotten that much worse, so that's good. If you're Classic Pro, you have some avenues here to take an advantage. You can build more fishing ships, build more docks. You can also do a sneaky transport here, or just build some fishing ships. I would go with the sneaky transport. Let's check. Well, Lojza doesn't appear to be building anything because he's trying to save the resources. He's got a lot of wood and gold. In fact, he's overbanked wood and gold, but despite that, still is up to the next age quickly. Gonna have to defend for the next few minutes. I have no doubt he will be able to. And Classic Pro way behind, banking too much gold. Again, did not get a lot of food from these extra docks. Now these fishing ships are just taking the fish that's very far away. I think some missed strategy opportunities for Classic Pro. He's got that transport there, so why are you hanging out on the left side? Oh, he did transport over. My bad. My bad. He had a second group of archers. This is perfect. And it doesn't even look like Lojza has noticed. So that's one villager down, 2 villagers down. This villager will go down. 3 villagers, 4 villagers down. Lojza still has not noticed. Classic Pro is actually distracting Lojza over on the left side. And finally Lojza has noticed. But it looks like 5 or 6 villagers have died. We can even see 7 or 8. Nice quick gate. This will disrupt Lojza's gold economy. Looks like Lojza had a similar idea in mind. Can Classic Pro kill the transport ship before it comes over? I don't even know if he saw it. So there we go. Tower on the gold. Classic Pro is going to build a market and click up. He's got to survive, though. And if Crossbow comes in... Actually, Crossbow's already in. And Bodkin's in. Oh, That was a good raid. But those units are not doing damage anymore, and now these crossbows are going to come in. How are you going to deal with the crossbows? Well, you're going to have to use your army here, but the army's going to have to come back. Classic Pro is going to have to buy stone for a tower. Looks like he's got enough for a tower. Going to try to rush that up. We have 5 crossbows. 5 crossbows, I think, and 2-shot villagers. Some of these villagers are weak, but that tower should get up, but a lot of villagers will go down. Let's see how many. Oh! 1 will go down, 2 will go down. A few villagers were garrisoned. And that house almost getting up, but not quite. So now the army has to come back for Classic Pro. Classic Pro is actually kind of pushing, but he still needs something to come back. Oh, nice. Lucky. Gonna kill 1 more crossbow. Gonna kill 2 more crossbows from that tower. That tower has unlimited range. And now it's only 1 crossbow, so that's not too bad. Even villagers can handle that. That could have been a lot worse for Classic Pro. Still wasn't very good. But this is still an even game. The sneaky transport ship's doing good damage, but could have done more. See how these splits go. Now we have skirmishers can flank these archers from the top. Lojza's actually going to go back. He's had this problem all game, and I hate this. I hate this when this happens in my own games. The archer range is not ungarrisoning to the backside of Lojza's base. It's ungarrisoning over here, which means the crossbows have to walk around. And now that Elite Skirmisher upgrade will be so valuable for Classic Pro. Here we go. Elite Skirmisher coming in. Crossbow, Bodkin, Arrow. And a University coming up, which is interesting. I would like to see either a University or a Siege Workshop from either of these players. Lojza has opted for the Siege Workshop. Classic Pro is going to go with the University. This hill is also very important. I think good job from Lojza taking an engagement before Elite Skirmisher comes in. That Elite Skirmisher upgrade does take some time. And there it is. Leather Archer armor coming in. So Classic Pro is going the route of upgrading his archery ranged units almost fully. Just missing Thumb Ring. And Lojza's going to add the Siege Workshop. I think I like the Siege Workshop play a little bit better. But that's it. Classic Pro is going to add the Siege Workshop now. The problem is... Nope. Going to be able to afford ballistics. So this will be a big drain to the wood economy of Classic Pro. Oh, another transport ship for Classic Pro. And how many villagers gonna get? Ballistics coming in now. Would have been nice to wait for ballistics. That's not doing too much damage. And gill nets for Lojza. It's a really great upgrade to have, especially on this kind of map. Definitely worth it. Lojza taking a big economy lead, or he will in the next few minutes. The ClassicPro is sinking more resources into his military. Let's see what he can do with it. If he can push in this area, you know, could kill a town center, could take out one of these gold mines. Leaving Lojza with only this gold in the back. Let's see how this Mangonel micro goes. And this will be great if Lojza can kill this transport before it gets away. Lojza's gonna go for it. This is risky. So risky. Mangonels are gonna trade. Ballistics is done, and they're not gonna be able to get to that transport ship, and away it goes. And ClassicPro might be in a little bit of trouble as this transport ship's going to get around to the back of the base of ClassicPro. What is the reaction from ClassicPro? Is he sending units back? He is sending archers back. There were only like 4 crossbows that went in. Lojza is pushing. He has more military. Going to get onto that wood line. Gonna kill more villagers. There we go. 4 more villagers down. Looks like a 5th will go down as well. This Mangonel micro is so crucial. Lojza can turn around, stand ground, and then run away. That's not what we're going to see. Actually, that's almost what we saw, but ClassicPro ran back. Now that ballistics is super helpful. Can he kill the Mangonel before it gets repaired? Cannot. I think ClassicPro has to run back, unless he's going to go for that villager kill. She's weak. She's down. And there's that Mangonel. Let's see if they will trade. Mangonel's too weak. Gonna get one more shot, though. Oh, that's good. It's not too bad. Whatever happened to those crossbows? Looks like they were cleaned up. A lot of action happening all over this map. This map is really cool. Lojza forced to build a dock on the right. Lojza still has not taken that monster eco lead. It's because he's been losing a lot of villagers. That's a lucky villager. And I think this army has to get out. War galley now being done for Lojza. Surprisingly, this is the first war galley to come in. This has all been about the land. These Japanese fishing ships, if they do happen to get gill nets, will be super strong, I suppose, for ClassicPro's economy. Second and third town center coming up from ClassicPro. Has he done enough damage? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Luckily, he's going to continue to try to do damage. Because right now, Lojza is 10 villagers up. Will be 12 villagers up very shortly. The economy is kind of messy for Lojza. But I think he can sort it out. This Mangonel is actually on a hill. It will survive that one hit. But ClassicPro's not paying attention. Big mistake from ClassicPro. ClassicPro still with more army. Let's see if he can do some fancy micro against this Mangonel. Going to try to take the hill, maybe. A little bit of a stand ground shot, just weakening up one crossbow. Oh! Going to take a big hit. But with that hill, should be able to win this. I don't think Lojza should be fighting this uphill. As well, I don't think Lojza has ballistics yet. And now ClassicPro should turn back. Is he paying attention? Not paying attention. Here's that Mangonel. Mangonel's going to attack the archer. It should attack the Mangonel. That's a good stand ground shot. And that's another good shot. But I don't think ClassicPro's doing enough damage. He is ahead in score, but I think Lojza will be coming back. Actually, the villager number is getting closer. ClassicPro, only now with Horse Collar. And I think this is smart from ClassicPro, working his way towards a castle. Castle in the middle would be great, especially on top of this main gold and this hill. So yeah, still an even game. ClassicPro, I think, has done enough damage now. Still is continuing to kill villagers, take good army engagements, make Lojza's economy a mess. That's going to even up the villager number, which was so important. That's great raid. Now Classic Pro is 3 villagers up. Both players on 3 town centers. Lojza has the middle map control, which is so important. Lojza's also up to the Imperial Age, and he'll be up sooner than expected because, again, he's playing as melee. I think the key here for Classic Pro, he needs a defensive castle. And let's check Lojza's resources. Is not mining any stone at all. This will be messy once this gold mine runs out. Actually, he's mining a little bit of stone, but that castle won't be up for some time unless he wants to buy one. I think Classic Pro can stall for a little bit. With a castle, I wouldn't delay that castle at all. I think you need that as soon as possible. Another thing Classic Pro should have done, he should have expanded out to these other pawns. And Lojza only getting wheelbarrow now. So again, players making a few mistakes. And this would be the ideal position now for the castle, or right there. Classic Pro has enough stone for it. I think you should place this down ASAP. And we're still waiting. Luckily, Lojza does not have a lot of military to push with. Where is this castle going to go, and when is it going to go down? Man, this army in the back has just been so valuable. Lojza has not been able to deal with it at all. Look at how many skeletons littering these farms. Guard tower being upgraded. And there's that castle. So that's definitely not the ideal castle position. I suppose it is safe knowing that you're later up to the next stage. You don't want your opponent to build a castle and then treb it down immediately. So it's definitely a safer castle. It secures the gold. It's a weird mining camp. Classic Pro really wants to maintain control of this water. That's funny. Alright, so now both players on even footing as far as technology is concerned. Both in Imperial Age. Again, I did favor the Japanese in this late game matchup. Both players get pretty good Arbalest. They get all the upgrades. But if we see Arbalest, then we're likely to see Skirmisher. And if we're likely to see Skirmisher, then we're likely to see either cavalry or infantry. And in both cases, Japanese get better cavalry and infantry. Again, a great archer raid. These archers and skirmisher, they're the MVP of this game. So many kills. Love to see the kill counter on them. I think this group probably killed at least 20 villagers. And still, a small group of them, 5 of them, will get away for the time being. Classic Pro, smart. Gonna push on this left side. He's had so much luck so far. Lojza's actually come around with a few Arbalests, so that might not pan out. Players still working on their economies. That's why we haven't seen too much action in this early Imperial Age. Here's the castle from Lojza. It is quite a bit delayed. Both players will think about a few trebuchets. Trebuchet already out for Classic Pro. If Classic Pro can take the initiative, treb down this castle, open up this middle area, then that should very much bode well for him to win this game. Especially if a second castle's on the way in this hill, that would be great. And there's that second castle. Perfect position. Arbalest getting a little retribution for that raiding party up at the top. Still 2 alive. Looks like they killed a Mangano, and they're still doing damage. These guard towers all of a sudden will help out quite a bit in the defense. They have some pretty good upgrades on them. And Classic Pro is going to try to go for the middle. I think some... Ooh, that's a lot of investment from Lojza on the middle. I don't even know if Classic Pro has War Galley or Galleon. He's got the War Galley upgrade. And I think that ClassicPro can probably finish this from the land. This castle from Lojza most definitely will go down. I don't think Lojza can do anything against this Trebin castle, which is uphill. So this whole area is gone for Lojza. And I don't expect this to be successful at all. Unless ClassicPro just doesn't repair his trebuchets. So the bottom side is going to belong to ClassicPro. This middle water belongs to Lojza, but how much does that mean? I don't think a whole lot. And the top part is not really being contested. So I think ClassicPro has the best chances to win this. Oh, that sucks. I think we might need another guard tower down there, and a few skirmishers going to come down. Save those villagers from their tower. Three trebuchets for ClassicPro. Lojza's going to call the GG, and I don't blame him at all. I think ClassicPro definitely played a cleaner game, had a much better Dark Age, had a better Castle and Imperial Age. I liked Lojza's boom a bit, but he just lost way too many villagers to that raiding party in the north. In the bottom side, ClassicPro took slightly better military engagements, and once Lojza hit the Imperial Age, couldn't do anything with it. I think over-invested into the water in the middle. And maybe should have cleaned up that raiding party a lot earlier. That's what he should have done. A good game. ClassicPro going to take the second point. Congrats. Hope you all enjoyed that. That was a very unique map. Let's see what the next map will be. Take a look at the villager high. Lojza, even though it got up to 3 town centers much sooner, still didn't have the most villagers in the end. And let's change the misspelling of Lojza's name. Alright, there we go. Alright, in just a moment we'll be going on to game 3, which will be Double Arabia. I'm interested to see what the civilizations for this matchup is. My name is Nobody, and thanks everyone for joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. Oh, let's change the score as well. This is the Aspiring Experts quarterfinals. Best of 5. Yes, it will. Nouveau level 6. So you have that to look forward to. The score currently is 1-1. Rubenstock, one of the other favorites in this tournament, in my opinion. Alright, let's move on to Game 3, Double Arabia. This should be a fast-paced, very exciting one. Alright, so let's go. Game 3. Here we go. In 10 seconds. Hello everyone, and welcome to the third game in this best of 5 between Lojza and ClassicPro in the semifinals matchup of Aspiring Experts. We are on Double Arabia, and we have 2 civilizations I have not yet casted on Double Arabia. Lojza in blue playing as the Chinese. He is on the top right side of the map. And in red we have ClassicPro playing as Indians. I'm going to put the game speed up to 60. To have more time to cast the games. Coming later on, we'll be casting Rubenstock, whoever he's against in the next matchup. So, yeah, Chinese and Indians Chinese, I have not seen at all. So normally we see Huns in this matchup. And back in Masters of Arabia 2012, we had double Arabia. I think that was the last time we saw this map in a tournament setting. Huns were chosen every time, but of course that was on Age of Conquerors. I thought Indians would have been a very strong pick. But Chinese I haven't thought about too much. So with Chinese, you start with extra villagers. So we have, right now, 3 more villagers for Lojza. That's a huge economy bonus. Well, now it's 2 villagers only. That looks to be about 3 villagers. So 3 villagers more for Lojza. They have a very versatile tech tree. I like that they have access to the camel. And a pretty decent economy. They're a pretty solid pick overall. I think this is definitely you pick the civilization for their strong economy. And I'm curious to see how this will play out. The Indians, I think, were to counter the Huns because their camels are so strong. And really, their economy is so strong. I think that's such a huge bonus on this map. Overall, though, so the Indians will be definitely going for camels. The Chinese can counter with... It's a hard one. So the Chinese, can they counter with camels of their own? I don't think so. I think the Indians have a matchup advantage here, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see how this comes down. I can also imagine, like, a Chinese player, usually you can wall at least one of your maps. Wall one map and then go for, like, a monk rush. I just don't see that happening with the amount of micro you're going to need for this. When you're starting with 2 town centers, is the Vil bonus really that strong? Yeah, I think so, because it's an extra 2 villagers per town center. So it scales with the amount of town centers you have. So if you had 3 town centers, you'd have an extra 6 villagers. In this case, it'd be an extra 4 villagers. But it doesn't appear that way in practice because right now we are on even villager numbers. Or is it just with a 1 villager advantage? I don't know if that's because of his execution or if because that bonus is actually not that strong. Lojza doubling up his scouts, going to look for some villager kills. Players are struggling a little bit in this early game. See that ClassicPro didn't find all of the sheep. They are kind of all over the place too. Not ideal boar lures for Lojza. This lumber camp is very messy. Way too many villagers on that. We'll move out to deer. ClassicPro doubling his scouts as well. Could actually run into the town center, but that's not going to be the case. Lojza's economy very messy too. Too many villagers on that straggler tree. Take a look at the scouting. Lojza finding both bases. ClassicPro finding only one of the bases. And again, players basically on even villagers. And what that means is ClassicPro has been saving a lot of food this whole time. So 40 villagers, saving 5 food on each villager. You could do the math, that's like 200, 250 food. That's a lot of food to save in the early game. I don't think 1 or 2 villagers is going to collect that much food throughout Dark Age, but I could be mistaken. The Lojza going to go with the barracks on the top. Going to wall the bottom side. This is a very common strategy for Double Arabia. Wall up one base and just worry about defending with the other. So this will be an okay wall off. Got a wall there though. I don't know if Lojza sees that. Scouts are going to run in under the town center. They're going to lose a ton of HP. So 1 scout going down. Looks like players should have enough resources for a fast castle. ClassicPro's lacking quite a bit of wood. We'll have the gold. So ClassicPro's got to wait a little bit. He needs a little bit more wood. He's placed down 2 military buildings. Lojza still has these scouts, and now these scouts have +2 attack. So they're slinging into themselves, basically, without the tribute. So it's even stronger than that. Without the tribute fee. And these scouts are probably going to go after this villager over there. Nah, they're just going to walk around. And Lojza is actually kind of making a team wall with himself. There is a hole in that area. Oh, Lojza sees it. He should see it right now. There we go. Gonna wall that up. But there is still a hole in the bottom. That could be a big area of concern for Lojza. Could even wall here. Once he wants to. Could wall an entire map for Lojza. That would be very beneficial. Lojza getting the eco upgrades. I don't know if Classic Pro's gotten them yet. I don't think he has. We have 2 stables for Classic Pro. That's a pretty no-brainer choice. I am interested, maybe the Indians would like to go Cavalry Archers in the late game. Classic Pro forced to build the Spearmen and defend from these 2 scouts. Really big mistake from Classic Pro to lose one of his scouts early. Oh, wow, look at that micro. Very quick reaction from Lojza. And here we go. Both players are going to get to the Castle Age. The action's about to begin. Classic Pro stonewalling, in fact, the bottom. I hate this, though. Make sure you stonewall behind the houses. Oh, that's terrible. And there we go. Players are up. They'll be starting to make military. 2 knights are out from Lojza. And we're seeing knights against camels. And I think we know who's going to win that matchup. So camels, I suppose if you're new, camels get an attack bonus versus knights, so they'll be good. They are actually a little bit faster too. And already it looks like Lojza going to lose a knight. Now interestingly, the Indians had their +1 melee armor bonus removed. So actually, Chinese and Indian camels are identical at this stage of the game. So it might not be a bad idea for Lojza to go for full camels. Again, an X factor for the Chinese. Can be their strength of their monks. Back there. One knight looks like he got away. Classic Pro is searching for that knight. Now it's Classic Pro's time to get aggressive. But Lojza has a few camels back at home. Upgrades, they're similar. You have 1 armor for Classic Pro. Still, numbers are going to be what decides it. But everything else even, these camels should win. Now we have a monastery from Lojza. Fully expected. So falling a little bit behind in military numbers. Well, let's say that up there, but a little bit in this area. And that's going to be a good fight for Classic Pro. That 1 camel straying from the group, going to get picked off. And I don't know what happened that night, but I don't see any blue on the minimap in this area. Oh, there it is! Killing a single villager. Now all these villagers are panicking towards this town center. Killing 2 villagers, actually. This villager's idle as well. It looks like he will go down. This monk was supposed to handle this knight, but that didn't happen. Good play from Lojza, hiding that knight for a few minutes, and then, right as Classic Pro forgets about it, brings it back. However, Classic Pro doing his own damage, all of these villagers having to retreat. Look at how many camels went down. Classic Pro with a big military advantage now. It's 14-1. This is pretty bad. Lojza transitioning to pikemen. And he's getting overwhelmed by these Indian camels. They will be able to tank a little bit more town center fire than normal camels. So they can be used to raid the edges right here. I wouldn't send them directly under a town center. But look at Lojza's economy. All these villagers are idle. Now a second group of camels coming in. Lojza was not expecting this at all. Back at home, Classic Pro has sorted things out from that night raid earlier. Now he's got to deal with raids at 2 places at once. This could be a quick win for Classic Pro. And it'd be surprising to see Classic Pro go up 2-1 in this series. This is a huge raid. Pikeman is teched into. These camels still doing tons of damage over here. We now have a 6 villager lead for Classic Pro. And that's going to get even better. Classic Pro going into crossbow, I don't agree with that decision. I think... No, I don't agree with that at all. It should be Cavalry Archer should be the choice. And we have 2 monks from Classic Pro. That's going to be able to help things along even better. Lojza, his pikeman switch looks good for the time being, but it won't be good for very long. Castle coming up from Lojza, that's really going to save him. certainly Chukunu will be on the cards. And I think ClassicPro might have canceled that crossbow upgrade and is going to Cavalry Archers now. Cavalry Archers is the better long-term solution for the Indians. Man, it looks like only one conversion for 2 monks. That's not a good trade. Interestingly, it's still open here, but that hasn't come into play. That's a terrible woodline. Still only palisades for Lojza, so Lojza is under a lot of pressure. A lot of places ClassicPro can continue to do damage. ClassicPro is 10 villagers up now. He's been saving all of this food this entire time. Sure, the Chinese farms are a little bit better. Sure, their technologies are cheaper, but I would rather have all that extra food. I wouldn't be surprised to see ClassicPro clicking up to next stage soon, or building a ton more military with all those extra resources saved. That villager's gonna change his pants and go to the other team. And ClassicPro, with these camels that do extra damage versus buildings, gonna get through those palisade walls in no time. Too fast for Lojza to quick wall right behind it. Unless he places a market. No, not gonna. And this will be another good raid. From ClassicPro, pikemen are going to come in, but now the cavalry archers are here to defend. They'll be able to pick off the pikemen right away. Lojza's in deep trouble. Another castle going to save him on the south. But the villager differential is getting too big. Now 106 versus 86, so a 20 villager lead for ClassicPro. In addition to all those resources he saved, take a look at ClassicPro's base. Things are working smooth up here, working smooth down here. Looks good. Lojza's base looks to be working smooth over here. It's not going too bad, but just more villagers for ClassicPro. And ClassicPro's up in Imperial Age. Imperial Age will be critical. With Imperial Age, can afford a trebuchet, capped ram, bombard cannon, most importantly, heavy cavalry archer bracer, heavy camel plate barding armor. One bright spot for Lojza. Currently has the strongest unit out on the map in the Chukunu. I'll take Chukunu over cavalry archers, but again, it depends on the upgrades. Lojza is also up to the next stage. It won't be too far behind. Lojza currently has a castle advantage if it does get into a trebuchet war. This will be a great raid from ClassicPro. These cavalry archers have the mobility, and Chukunu are not the most mobile thing in the world. The more villagers will go down. Let's see if Lojza can mount some sort of comeback. Again, I would be very surprised. You told me at the beginning of the series that ClassicPro will go 2-1 against Lojza, especially with Lojza winning that first game. I'm just looking all around the map and I see Lojza's units going down and ClassicPro's units being conserved. We have 5 rams now already being built from ClassicPro, so he'll go into Cap Ram right away. And another bright spot, at least Lojza has Chukunu. Chukunu are not too bad against rams. And these castles are in good position. So Lojza's got to survive, got to get Bracer, got to keep his Chukunu alive at all costs. I think he should stonewall this area as well. This is such a risky mining camp for Lojza. Wow. And I think he's got to win a trebuchet war. So Elite Chukunu being done right away. That's an expensive upgrade. So for now, Lojza has to stop this ram push, and he's got to do it with the Chukunu, but the Chukunu are going the long way around. I think they were looking for these camels, and the camels went south. Well, the Chukunu went north. Here comes the rams. The Chukunu can't be 2 places at once. This army will continue to do damage in the south while the Chukunu address this in the north. Will Lojza be able to save his castle? Castle being repaired by at least 20 villagers. Chukunu will go to work. Looks like they will be able to take out the rams, but what about the trebuchets in the south? Heavy cavalry archer Parthian tactics coming in. Alright, castle saved momentarily. We still have 3 trebuchets in the south. Looks like ClassicPro doesn't have enough to defend from the Chuckanoo, even with the skirmishers. But the skirmishers will be so cost effective. Oh, and there's just too much in this area. So Lojza will definitely lose that castle. Will lose his north base. In the south, he's starting to expand a little bit. I think Lojza should probably do a migration with these villagers. Try to save the Chuckanoo. Try to fortify down this middle area. And cut your losses. But Lojza's actually going to go for it. Going to pick off 1 trebuchet. Castle is still up. We have 2 mangonels to deal with as well. It's just too much army from ClassicPro. Too well upgraded. Too many units, too much economy for ClassicPro. I think ClassicPro is probably going to be taking this game. But I've been saying that for the last 10 minutes. So let's see if Lojza can hold another 10 minutes. Currently, Lojza has nothing to deal with these elite skirmishers. I think Lojza needs to transition to light cavalry. And with Lojza's food economy, I just don't see it. I don't see a lot of working farmers for a transition light cavalry. Or a lot of lumberjacks for stables. So Lojza just defending for now, trying to keep that castle up. Heavy Camel on the way for ClassicPro, going for the nail in the coffin. If he can get to Imperial Camel will be a great raider. Decent meat shield for the Chuckanoo. Lojza trying to take a small battle, a small victory in the middle by destroying the castle of ClassicPro. We'll see if he gets that. Needs more villagers to repair that castle. ClassicPro coming forward with another castle. This castle is being repaired for so long. And there's the GG. Lojza can't hold any longer. This castle will go down. And that's it. That's it. Wow. So I just don't agree with the civilization pick. Chinese on Double Arabia. We saw they had a villager advantage at the start, but that went away. Again, I don't know if that's because of the civilization or a little bit of miss micro or miss macro from Lojza in the early game. But the Indians so strong, their economy is just so strong. They have good enough options with the Camel and Cavalry Archer. So that was really a great pick from ClassicPro. Did really good with that Camel raid at the beginning, and Lojza just fell way too behind. And ClassicPro going 2-1 against, again, what I think is the favorite in this tournament, Lojza. Pop out. All right, let's jump in straight into the next game after I update the score. There we go. 2-1. Knights was a big mistake. I agree. It was a big mistake. I can see the point. You want to go Knights because you want to do damage right away. And that one Knight in the back of ClassicPro's base did do a lot of damage. But it was also part of the execution. The Knights ran straight into the Camels. Lojza had to build a castle straight. Yes, he did. So, let us get into the next game. Game 4. Here we go. Is ClassicPro going to take this series? Is he going to get the upset, in my opinion? Or is Lojza going to be coming back? Hello everyone, and welcome to Game 4. In this matchup between Lojza and ClassicPro, we have ClassicPro going up 2-1 against Lojza. Never expected this would happen. We're on the map. Oh, I think this is Archipelago. What is this? Continental? Continental, okay. We don't see this map too often. It's a little too much water for my taste. A little too narrow in the middle. That's okay. It's a classic map. This is one of the maps you probably played on when you were first playing Age of Empires. It was one of the maps I certainly played on a lot when I was younger. So, gives me the feels a little bit. But it is a nice map. It's a nice mixture of water and land. We have Lojza on the right side in blue playing as the Japanese. ClassicPro playing as the Huns. First time we'll see Huns in this series. We saw Japanese earlier. Japanese, of course, the better water civilization with their fishing ships being tanks. Extra HP and armor. Collecting fish faster. In this case, it looks to be mostly snapper. Snapper and a little bit of salmon. So good bonuses for the Japanese, but as far as the land army goes, at least in the Castle Age and Castle and Imperial Age, it's going to be all about the Huns and their cavalry archers and their knights. Strong combo, even siege rams available to them, not available to the Japanese. So take your pick. You want a water civ? You want a land civ? If you got a water civ, then maybe you got enough of an advantage that you're actually pretty decent on land. Let's take a look at the maps. ClassicPro. In the middle of his little island, I suppose. What's the island? Gonna build a lumber camp to the left. Has some deer to lure. Probably will build a dock on the backside. Usually you want to get a dock into the corners because there's more fish there, but that's probably not going to happen for ClassicPro unless he goes to the top left corner. Lojza. And potentially build a dock in the top right corner. Also has this nice little bay, and I would definitely go for that bay. So if Lojza wants to build a dock, there are chances he gets a better dock position. Where's Lojza going? Looks like he's going to lure the boar. Got two boars that are way in the south. There's also this interesting hill. Taking a look at the middle. Both players are connected, but it is easy to wall. A few extra sheep, I believe, as well. Middle area has a lot of trees. And only one crossing for both players. What is Lojza doing? Is he luring both boar at the same time? Is this a new strategy? Oh no, this villager will build a dock, then lure the boar back. That is the worst dock positioning I've ever seen for shorefish. I mentioned earlier, didn't I mention how good Lojza's fish could potentially be if he went to this bay? Or if he went to the right corner? Even here would have been great. But here, at least he gets one fish. And it'll be good for a transport strategy if he wants to go for it. Maybe that was his idea. Taking a look at ClassicPro's dock, he has gone in the back. So ClassicPro actually will have the better fish, even though he's only playing as the Huns. I'm very interested, though, if Lojza will add an archer range and do some sort of transport or something like that. This is perfect for that. In fact, I don't even expect ClassicPro to find this dock anytime soon. So there are some advantages, although minor, for this dock. Certainly these fishing ships should be safe for a while if ClassicPro doesn't find that dock. And if you know your dock is in such an awkward position that your opponent's never going to find it, hey, maybe you go for a fast castle strategy where your fishing ships you know will be alive, especially as Japanese. Or you go for, you know, sort of Castle Age rush. We'll see if that's on the cards for Lojza. Maybe this is 5D chess. Maybe this is next level play. Maybe this is just a bad dock. And I'm over-analyzing things. But that's what I do best. That's my favorite thing to do, is analyze things. Let's speed things up a little bit through the Dark Age. I'm gonna go up to 60 speed. Scout is gonna say hi to the town center of ClassicPro, and in the process gonna lose half the HP. Seen that a lot this series, actually. ClassicPro gonna be first up to the feudal age. 24 population, 20 villagers up. That is a very typical time. 20 villagers up for Lojza, actually a little bit later, only by 10 seconds. So Lojza's got 4 fishing ships right there. The next closest fish will be, well, he's got the shorefish, so maybe put 3 up here and 1 down here. Shorefish, of course, gather slowly, and ClassicPro did find that dock. I think that was a little lucky. That was a little lucky from ClassicPro, so I guess those next level meta strategies are not going to happen. ClassicPro will most definitely send the galleys down there. Now this dock won't be too bad if another dock is placed and the fishing ships can transfer over. And this dock is not a good dock either, but I guess it'll do the job. Now fishing ships can transfer over to the snapper. They'll be a little bit idle for a bit. Or at least one of them will be. A little bit idle, but they're okay. The 2-dock fire galley. Oh, another fishing ship actually for Lojza. Back in a little bit of wood. Lojza not doing so great as far as galley production is concerned. Now building the galley. And ClassicPro will have the galleys out a little bit sooner, so I expect they'll probably meet around this area. ClassicPro is actually going to scout the second dock as well. So good scouting from ClassicPro early in the game. Has not found his opponent's main base, which is a little bit worrisome. I think he can assume the town center's right there. That's good enough. What is Lojza doing with this villager? So interestingly, ClassicPro did not wall the middle. That's pretty standard to do that. And Lojza can see that his opponent did not wall the middle. Can see all the critical resources from ClassicPro. Does not see the docks, however. And this is so lucky for Lojza, and it's a great scouting find to find that the opponent is not across the middle, but is ClassicPro paying attention? He is. He is, and he's found this, and I think that'll be the end of that. But no, I'm not going to get the scout even. Oh, that's horrible. That's terrible. Ooh, not a good start for Lojza. Look at how much more ClassicPro has on the water. Man, is ClassicPro going to take the series right now? I would not expect this. This would be a big upset in my book. That's not a good fight either. Oh man, it looks like Lojza will lose all of his fish. Villager's staying busy. So if you're an optimist, you say this villager, well, it forced a barracks and an archer range out of the opponent, so it did something. But on the other hand, this archer range will come in very handy once ClassicPro wants to go on the aggression, and that villager will go down. Alright, Lojza defending for now. I don't think he lost any fishing ships quite yet. Maybe ClassicPro took his foot off the gas as far as galley production is concerned. Letting Lojza breathe a little bit. Lojza's got an archer range of his own. Going into archers. Yeah, I like to see skirmishers. That's my personal opinion. I'm not as good as these players. Lojza did, in fact, wall the middle, so he'll have a little bit of time. Lojza gonna get fletching right away. ClassicPro regrouping. Who has more fish? Currently 6 and 6. Granted, I think ClassicPro's fish are working a little bit more efficiently, even though Lojza's are working faster. Lojza can build another dock in the back, that would be great. Probably a little bit distracted by these archers in the front. And I think players will stay on one archer range and just use the rest of the wood to build farms. ClassicPro probably thinking about going up, has a lot of farms, building a market now. Look at those resources. Lojza, a little bit further behind, has a little bit too much gold, not enough food. We'll be up soon. Interesting, Lojza getting a second archer range right away. I expect ClassicPro to add a second one pretty soon. What happened to those archers? They're going back. And Lojza's actually got the first transport ship. ClassicPro ever build one? No, ClassicPro never built one. ClassicPro playing very defensive on the water. Has definitely has more military. ClassicPro going up to the next stage. So water, it looks good. But let's see how he defends from this land attack. Oh, nice outpost from ClassicPro. ClassicPro is playing... That first game was ugly, but these last few games, just playing a little bit better than Lojza. You just see it, less mistakes. cleaner gameplay. 5 archers versus 4 archers. As well, fletching is already done. ClassicPro has a few seconds before fletching is done. Wow, that was a big blown opportunity for Lojza. He ran straight into the town center. And he's still continuing to run into the town center. What in the hell was that? That was a big throwaway. That was terrible. Wow. Alright, so I guess ClassicPro is going to go on the counterattack. Oh, man. And ClassicPro took a huge fight down at the bottom. So all the advantages for ClassicPro, they are small advantages. They're not game-deciding advantages. Things just going ClassicPro's way. Hey, welcome. Oh, welcome, Lidicor. Welcome to the stream. Ooh. Both players getting their upgrades. What happened to that land army from ClassicPro? They're just waiting here for a transport ship. Military numbers still in favor of Lojza. One bright spot. Let's see what happens with these transport ships. 2 cavalry archers even being made by ClassicPro. He's playing as the Huns, of course. Looks like players will transport on opposite islands, leading probably to some massive damage. ClassicPro not upgrading to crossbow, however. And that's a pretty poor place to transport if you're Lojza, because they're going to run straight into skirmishers. And ClassicPro going straight for that transport ship. Will survive for the time being. Archer's going to try to pick off a villager. Looks like they haven't gotten anything. ClassicPro going with a very early thumb ring. That's worth it. It's definitely worth it if you're going straight into cavalry archers, but again, it depends on how many you make. That's exactly what I said at the beginning. Good old Continental. Oh, God. Brings back the nostalgia, doesn't it? Lojza going to loop around with crossbows. Could get some more villager kills. This is how Lojza can pull it back. ClassicPro has the army to defend, but let's see if he'll defend in time before a few villagers go down. Either way, ClassicPro won't be in a bad position once that army's cleaned up. Down in the south, nothing else happening. I think the army has to go the long way around. So no villagers going down. Quite a bit of a disruption to ClassicPro's economy. We'll clean up these archers. Remember, thumb ring is done, so these cavalry archers are pretty strong. And there we go. Lojza's army being lost a second time. Lost the army down here. Now losing the army over to the left side. Didn't even get that fish. ClassicPro with complete water control. Land armies are about the same, but ClassicPro's army is getting stronger and stronger as he's making cavalry archers and Lojza's making crossbow. Economies. 3 town centers versus 2 town centers only. 3 town centers now. Lojza has a bit of an economy advantage. You don't take into consideration these 6 fishing ships. That score difference. Yeah, that's all in the KD. 30 to 15. 30 to 15. It's also some of these military units which are down at the bottom. It's also partly the scouting. Taking a look at ClassicPro scouting. Much better. So this is a big raid for ClassicPro. I did notice Lojza had about 500 food and 500 gold. We might be thinking about Imperial Age. Let's see if these cavalry archers can find the right angle, the right place to hit. Right here would be great. Lojza, it doesn't look like it's been continuing to make crossbows, but it certainly needs them now. And ballistics even coming in for these cavalry archers, so they'll be super deadly. Why only 6 fish for a player in red? Has been prioritizing other things. Because the ClassicPro actually needs another dock. Needs a dock down here. So Classic Pro trying to equalize the villager number. Trying to disrupt his opponent's economy as much as possible. Lojza now stepping up crossbow production. Certainly have worse upgrades. They're certainly the weaker unit, but it looks like they're getting the job done. More villagers going down. The village difference has almost equalized. We now only have a 4 villager difference. Our archers could run back in through that hole. And I'm surprised they didn't. Even husbandry being done for Classic Pro. Classic Pro is actually investing a lot into these cavalry archers in Castle Age, which I don't know if I agree with. Husbandry, I think, is 150 food. Or 200 food. 150 food. I don't know if that gives you anything. Bloodlines, sure, that's a big upgrade. There's some more cavalry archers. I don't think husbandry's worth it, but Bloodlines definitely is. And now Lojza's got to go back. I guess he hasn't seen these extra cavalry archers. Remember, these crossbows don't have femring, they don't have ballistics. And they will get destroyed, especially downhill. Make lots of free food on water. Yes, that is correct, but... Is it? Is it? So I don't think it's actually that valuable, because if you build a dock in the corner like that, then you can get lots of fish, but you'll have to continue building docks because there's only like... Basically, this map is 1 fish thickness, if that makes any sense. Because you're going to have to keep building docks to keep getting the fish, so that's more and more wood investment. So I don't think it's that valuable. Not like we have a big pond or a big ocean of fish. Lead skirmisher for Lojza. Crossbows weren't cutting it. That makes sense. Now, Classic Pro is ahead in the villager lead. He is 7 or 8 villagers up. Lojza, using all that extra food and gold, however, to go into the Imperial Age. I'm pretty sure he has a castle. And all Lojza wants is this hill. And he is not going to get it. Nope, not going to get it at all. And now Lojza might be screwed. Wanted that hill so badly. Now he's going to have to wall these villagers off to make sure that they're safe. Classic Pro, interestingly, wants the castle there. So Lojza can build the castle there. Should have enough time to build it. Lojza's still getting raided. Does not want to quit on this potentially last game. And what a crazy series. Was not expecting this result. Classic Pro now up to the next age. These cavalry archers just walked around the north side of the map. Lojza, it looks like he was planning on building a castle right there. Alright, there might be enough skirmishers to defend. Looks like there are enough. So let's place down that castle, Lojza. Oh, gonna go to the hill. Doesn't see the castle. And he's gonna see the castle right as it's up. That's so bad. That's so bad. And Lojza, I bet, would have loved to have that castle up earlier to have a Treb out. By the time this castle is up, Classic Pro will almost be in the Imperial Age, so they'll be on even footing as far as trebuchets, except Classic Pro has the hill. Classic Pro will have a second castle, too, for double trebuchet production. I think this game is pretty close to over. Lojza will lose this middle area. Lojza can... Okay, he can make a play back in water. I don't see it happening. There's too much stuff on the water for Classic Pro. He can... Lojza can upgrade Yasama, build guard tower all around his island, take all of these resources, drag out the game for another 20 or 30 minutes, get Japanese Halb, and play the extremely long game and try to eventually get back this goal. That's the only way I see Lojza winning this game. And as well, Lojza will have one more relic, I think. One of these monks had a relic in the north. I don't know where he went. Cavalier being done from Classic Pro. One cavalry archer raiding in the back. That is so annoying. One skirmisher coming over. 2 villagers. Gonna try. This trebuchet battle's not even gonna be close. unless Lojza can somehow afford another castle in Katabaruta. These are Hun's trebuchets too, they're more accurate. And behind the lines, ClassicPro upgrading to Cavalier. I think Lojza is anticipating this. I don't think he's seen it. Well, we'll see it right now. So we have 10 Cavalier versus 7 Pikemen. 10 Cavalier will win that easy. And not the most efficient trade for ClassicPro, but I think he should win it. Maybe not. These are Japanese pikemen. They attack faster. Now Haub is done. So ClassicPro is going to switch back into cavalry archers. These trebuchet under the castle should be able to take out all the military production buildings. Your cavalry are not very good against Haub, but can't make Haub without barracks. Any other signs of life for Lojza? Signs of hope? Well, he's got a fire ship there. He's running out of wood. Moving over to the left side. Going to place a castle there. Now, you don't want to place it too close to the shoreline because then it's easier to get trebbed down. Obviously, this castle can't be trebbed from the north. You're going to want at least one castle. I would like to see guard tower. Not just a GG from Lojza. I don't know, do you guys think that Lojza can have a realistic chance of winning this? I think it's not likely. Might be worth still playing on. I don't know, I'm not the kind of player that would like to draw things out too much. Things aren't going terribly right now in the middle. These pikemen are very strong. Alps. It's like this combo from the Huns. And Lojza's going to have to build a defense. He's going to have to build enough military to prevent this. Prevent the raids. Lojza's going to give it up right there. He's not going to go for the 2-hour play. He is going to say good luck next. And ClassicPro is going to advance to the next round. Wasn't expecting that at all. But especially wasn't expecting a 3-1. I'm very surprised by this. I thought Lojza was going to win this whole tournament. But ClassicPro, surprising some people, the Ukrainian. Going to move on to the semifinals. 2 more matches he has to win before he's got the biggest share of that $1,000. Wow. Very surprising one. Gold at the bottom just doesn't look realistic. It lays on the bottom. Not sure exactly which gold you're referring to, but Age of Empires is not exactly known for its real. Alright, so we'll be jumping straight into the next series. So, Lojza will be going to the semifinals. We'll see who else will be joining him in the semifinals. We'll have up next Rubenstock versus Cool.